Alright, what's good, viewers, man? Trey Beamen from the Mind Overflow, as you already know. Alright, so I just watched Pat Riley's news conference. And it just, I just don't, I guess I just don't understand, like, how, like, stars like that, like, they even think about leaving a situation like that. Like, you went to LeBron, and I'm speaking of LeBron, you went to a situation where you were the man. They made you that man, and they put help around you. They're a good market. So like why is there still some sort of lack on whether he's gonna come back or not? Like what? Why would you do anything else? You won 2 rings. I mean, you almost got you in your 4 years there. 4 years of the big three. They went to 4 finals straight, and then you win 2 rings out of those 4. Like, what else do you need to know that, hey, this is my legacy. This is where I'm gonna go ahead and finish out my years. If you know if he, I mean, he's like Wade. He's like Wade is. Wade is gonna finish his time in Miami, and that's how it's gonna be. So I mean, LeBron tripping. I mean, he should have just already been like, "Yeah, I'm coming back." Blah blah. I know it's a hurtful loss, and you at the end of your contract, you think about out and out. But at the same time, man, this is your legacy, man. Are you gonna go back to Cleveland? Ain't nothing there. Just like they touched on, man, ain't nothing there. There's nothing in Cleveland. They were supposed to get Embiid, but now he got a foot injury, so now you only people you got there is Irvin. It'll be you and Irvin. And even if they would have gotten Embiid, like he he's a what is he proven? You know, like is he really proven as a player enough to say, hey, that's a big three? Like I don't believe so. They talked about a lot of things other than LeBron. They talked about Wade reinventing himself. Um, I think Wade is gonna be Wade regardless. Wade is gonna stay the Wade. Like he doesn't have, he hasn't shown promise in any other areas except for what he does. He's always been a slasher. He's always been a high power, like a high energy character player. Like you know, I don't think that he's gonna just automatically turn into one of those, shooters or like Ray Allen. Ray Allen did a lot during his time, over his career, but in his latter years, he's turned into that shooter that he's always been. I don't think Wade is gonna do that. I really think Wade is gonna stay more of a slasher, more of a in the paint kind of guy, and there's nothing wrong with that. He just has to take this summer to get healthy and to come back and be able to do that. Wade, what people don't understand, or some people they don't think about sometimes, is Wade has taken a lot of bumps and bruises over the years, man. Wade has always been one of those hard nosed, um, like an example would be Westbrook. He's always been one of those hard nosed kind of players that's straight to the rack, in the paint some kind of way. So now that he's getting into his latter years, it's coming back to bite him. I mean, as any player, as it would for any player. So I think Wade will be all right. I think that his time is slowing down. His everything is slowing down for him just because he's getting older. Those, just like I said, those bumps and bruises from his earlier years are gonna catch up to you. Regardless of who you are. He just needs to take time to understand that he has to pick and choose his attacks, and he has to pick and choose. He has to get better with not being so. And I wouldn't say he was reckless earlier in his career, but he was more I don't know how to say it, but he was just more. He just got. He was just more. He was more just high energy, and now he has to get smarter about his game. He has to get smarter about his attacks, and he has to get smarter about, you know, just getting his, being productive. Basically, he has to take a more Kobe type attack toward the game. Once Kobe got to the point where he was getting a little older, he just got smarter. He knew he found ways to, and I'm not even a Kobe fan. Let's get that right. But I can give props what props are due. It was a point where he knew he was getting older, so he just got more smarter, and he got um, he became more cerebral, with his attack, So and that made him a great player. See, that's what Wade's gonna have to do in order to just continue playing like he's capable of playing. They talked about Mario Chalmers. I don't think Chalmers' time is up in Miami, but I think that he's gonna have to have a good year. I think that I don't think that time. I don't think his time is gonna go down. His minutes. I don't think they're gonna limit his minutes, just because it was just the finals. It wasn't like it was just the whole playoffs itself. It was just the finals. So, they're not. I don't think Miami's gonna lose. Confidence in him just because of the finals. He had a rough finals, yeah, but I think he'll be fine. Um, uh, as far as the drafts go, they have the 26th and I think it was 26th and 35th pick. I think that was. I agree with Pat about draft picks because you just like you said, you never know what you'll get. A lot of times these players are coming out, they're one and doners, as they say, and you just never know what kind of durability they have, what kind of you know potential that they have. Yeah, you're playing a college game where a lot of the great college players are leaving after 1 year. So then you have another batch of players that's coming in, and you have to start over with that. So that doesn't give you a good look at the game anymore, at the college game, because you're not seeing anybody go against greats. You're seeing one great here, one great there, and then playing with a whole lot of other people that are, have potential, but, aren't on that level. So it's like nowadays you can't really understand what you're getting from the draft because you really don't know. You don't know what they can do against NBA style, environments. So it's like I mean, and that goes for not only on the court, that goes for off the court. Some of these college, players, they've never dealt with adversity as far as like with the media and stuff like that, because hey, they're one and done. They go to college, they stay that 1 year, and then they're in the NBA, or they're in the draft, something like that, or they are undrafted, so you just don't know what you'll get in a young player nowadays, and I'm not, I really can't. I'm just going off of what I see, you know. I mean, I'm very knowledgeable of the game, but I'm just going off of what I see. You got players like even Kyrie Irving, one of the better, younger guys that got drafted after their first year. Like, you got him. He came in injured. He was injured. He came in. He started doing better, but it took him a while. It took him a good while. Who else? Anthony Davis is doing pretty good, but it took him a while it took him a while into the season to actually get that mindset like, hey, I'm just about to do numbers. You know, it just takes players a while to really, get on. Before, you had your 4 years behind you, so that was a little build up. You got to test it. You got to test their durability through 4 seasons. You got to test their willpower. To you know as a championship player, or as a player winning a championship. So you got to see what kind of you know what they could actually do. Nowadays, just like I said, they're 1 year players, and then they're in the NBA. So, you know, they don't. Some of them don't really have that kind of. They don't have that kind of understanding and experience of the game to be able to play against those NBA players, and it hurts them when they get into the NBA. And that's why you see a lot of people. They'll play, but then they'll end up in the D League and come back to the team and then go back to the D League, stuff like that. And the D League is getting a lot better nowadays. But it's just, you got players like that just come in and they'll just sit on the bench, or they'll go to the D League off and on. And, that's not necessarily a good thing all the time. When you give a player a lot of money and, they don't produce, that's not good. Um, Bron, just with Bron coming back, and I know he's good. The thing is, I know he's gonna come back. I'm not Bron homeboy, but at the same time, I know he's not gonna go anywhere. When you have a career like he's had, those 7 years in Cleveland, and then you go to Miami, and you win 2 out of 4. You win two rings out of 4 years. Like that means a lot. That means that it's working. It's not. And then you get to 4 finals. You get to the finals every year. That means it's working. It's not like he missed the playoffs this year and then got to the second round this year and then didn't make it that year and then got to the final. No, it wasn't like that. He's solidified his legacy with the Miami Heat, and he just needs to go ahead and continue with that. It's some key. I figure these are key free agents for the draft. I mean, not the draft. Excuse me. Free agents on the market. They can pick up. See when I see Miami, I see that a they just need a defensive post, and that's what I think. Miami has everything else. They have shooters and Ray Allen, who will most likely retire this year. They have shooters in Ray Allen. They have Ray Allen and Lewis. They have slashers with Wade, Cole, Chalmers, LeBron himself, Bosh, when he wants to. They have offensive players, but they need players that can, really just sit down and play defense as far as, in every position, but mostly the post. I don't really, Tim Duncan really killed him, and I said this in my earlier video. Tim Duncan really killed him because they didn't really have a post presence as far as defensively. Udonis came in and did his usual. You know, Bosh is not a defensive big, and we all know that he's an offensive big. You didn't have Greg Oden, except for they played him at the end of some games. Anderson wasn't playing defense like himself. He's not a defensive guru, but at the same time, he wasn't. If you look back at those games, just like I said, he was letting people, drive the lane, have open shots, little floaters coming in the lane and everything, and their movement was horrible. Their replacements were just atrocious, and they just need that defense. They need to get back to defense. Early in their career, I mean, earlier in their big three era, that first year, they had a lot of garbage. They had a lot of like fast break points and a lot of highlights because they played good defense. They just they it wasn't like a scrappy kind of defense, but they just were able to play the lanes and get out on the break, and that led to a lot of their earlier success. Now it's like they're more offensive driven, and I think they just need to get back to defense. But some of their players that they may need to look to as far as the free agency is like Omeka Okafor. I think they should talk to. I think they should talk to him because he can be more of that. He can be more of that defensive big. He's never been an offensive player since he came in the league. He can be that defensive big that they need to just kind of be in the way, like a Perkins. Like Perkins is just I what like to me Perkins has no other means on the court but to just be big and be in the way. Like that's it. And I always joke with one of my homeboys, Jordan, and I always joke with him saying that Perkins just be fouling like for no reason. He's done that since he was in Boston, and I hate Boston, by the way. I hate the Celtics. Go Hawks, go Atlanta Hawks. But yeah, they need a player like Perkins, and I think Omeka Okafor could be that player. You know, George Hill, from the Lakers or whatever. He could be a defensive big because he can give you garbage buckets around the basket, but he's not that offensive player. He can score, but he's not an offensive player. He's more of just a scrappy kind of big that'll give you what you need. Also Daquan Blair. Uh, Blair is I wouldn't so much say Blair only because he's a smaller kind of big. He can play D. He can play. But he's a smaller kind of big, and but I believe that he's also a good pickup because he he's scrappy. He hustles, and he wants to win a championship. Like even when he played with the Spurs, he was always a pretty decent player. He worked within the system of their defense, and I think that if they scrap down on their defense, if they just get back to their defense, then I think they'll be fine. Um, that's really what they have to work on is their defense because their defense was atrocious, and not only the finals but just the whole playoffs. And then games during the year. Miami's defense is suspect. And so that's what really killed them. I think if they were to get back to their defense, then they'll be fine um, they'll be fine. They'll be fine. So, yeah, y'all just let me know what y'all think, man. I could go on and on about this situation because it's a real sticky situation. If LeBron was to leave, then that'll be another. I just don't believe that he'll leave. To be totally honest, I really don't believe that he's gonna leave. I think that he'll be right back there next season. I just think that I think that it was a real letdown this finals losing 4-1 to the Spurs. He lost because you remember his last season before he left Cleveland. He lost to the Spurs. So I think that it's just I think it's just a real disappointment on his part. He's just really upset at the moment, and he just needs to, time to get away and enjoy, his summer, and just get away from the game a while, and then come back and regroup, and that's all they have to do. Just like Pat Riley said, they don't have to rebuild; they have to retool. And once they retool it, everything will be fine. They pick up a couple of free agents, like they always do, and they'll be fine. They will be fine. Um, yeah, just like I said, comment here or email me. I'll have my email in the description. So yeah, just comment, email me. Tell me what y'all think. I'll probably make another video. NFL, hey, football season is right around the corner, so I'll be making a NFL video about, like, upcoming trades and stuff like that, or who we need to watch out for. Like, for instance, Maurice Jones-Drew going to the Raiders. Look out for that. Maurice Jones-Drew, McFadden, and Shaw. That might be a good look. That might be a good look. Other things that's going on, I'll talk about that a little later on. But yeah, it's Trey Beamen, Mind Overflow Man, out.